Okay, this is a video of a 1/350th scale Royal Navy carrier battle group. The carrier here is the HMS Prince of Wales. It's actually a little larger than 1/350th scale, but it is what I could get from quality model ships. They sold me the model at significant discount because I encouraged them to let me detail the model in such a way to show them the way it could look with the proper air wing and the proper detailing. And they did so, and I encourage people to look at it. If you do, be prepared to replace the air wing until they get to a point that they can do so, and redo the details. And as we go through the video, I'll explain that. But what you see here is a full major Royal Navy battle group. It's got 2 Daring Type 45 class destroyers, 2 Type 22 Duke class frigates, and I've got 2 Astute class nuclear attack submarines. And that is what the Royal Navy would be prepared to send out with at the current time. As you can see, let's get close on this carrier here. The carrier is carrying a wing of F-35Bs, and as you can tell, the F-35Bs are Royal Navy F-35Bs. Here we have one preparing to take off, with 4 more spooling up their vertical engines so that they can move into position and take off, and 5 more ready to follow behind them. Up on the front end of the carrier, we have one going up the ski ramp and about to take off from it. You also see some more spotted over here in front of the first island. That first island is the navigation island and is used for navigating the carrier. The second island is for pry-fly, or the flight operations. Both, as I understand it, are equipped to do the job of the other, so if they suffer battle damage, they have the continuity and duplicit, ability to perform operations from both. You can see on each island the LED boards that they carry, 2 on the back of the aft island and 1 on the back of the forward, and that tells the crew here on the ship what the status of flight operations and navigation and other things that they need to know regarding the ship. I've detailed out the entire ship. What you will see along here is the equipment the ship needs: the ladders to get up to the flight deck, 50 caliber machine guns which are manned. Also finally the self-defense weaponry they have put on the Queen Elizabeth, which has already been commissioned. They have 3 close-in weapon systems, which are 20mm phalanx systems, which are decent systems, but that's all they have. And I contend that that's not enough. They need more. On this particular ship, which is the Prince of Wales, I not only have the 3 phalanx that they have put on, but I also have added 2 of these pretties. This is a RAM rolling airframe missile launcher, carries 21 missiles that are good out to about 10 kilometers or so, and they're a close-in weapons system. But with 2 of them, one here on the starboard aft quarter, and another here on the forward port quarter, they have 42 missiles to help protect themselves. You can see also with the 1/350th scale daring class, these ships each carry 48 missiles and a very, very effective 3D air defense system. My only concern with them is that they only carry 48 missiles against a less than peer and an inferior navy. That's fine. Against a near peer navy that is equipped with hundreds of aircraft that carry 4 to 6 anti-shipping missiles, that's not fine. You need more missiles. And here we have 48 on that vessel that can shoot long range. This is a Duke class with a 32 vertical launcher, and it has been upgraded like the other Duke classes are all being upgraded to carry the Sea Scepter missile, which is a much more effective missile than the Sea Wolf missile that they have had for so long, and these have been upgraded to do that, so that's more effective. But 32 and 48 is still, you can add it up, that's 80 missiles, and with 2 sets of that you got 160 missiles, and that's just not enough for a large carrier like this that could be attacked by as many as 100 planes carrying 4 to 6 missiles each. The carrier here is also outfitted with 2 large elevators. I've got the Prince of Wales insignia on each. I've also got a visiting helicopter there. You can see the white helicopter is a Seahawk helicopter. It's a Japanese Seahawk helicopter, and it's visiting the Prince of Wales for whatever reason, but I thought it'd be interesting to just put it on there. I also have numerous Merlin helicopters, but also added what I think is inevitable and should be inevitable, which is the EV-22 Osprey, an AEW Osprey that has a radar. This was already offered to the British and they turned it down, and instead are using the Merlin with the crow's nest radar. But that radar has a range, I think, close to 200 miles, maybe a little further, whereas the Osprey can get to 350 miles, which gives them a much better chance to see and be able to have their aircraft engage those attacking aircraft before they launch their missiles. And that is oh so critical, because then you can deal with one target instead of 6 targets coming at you at supersonic speeds right on the wave tops. It's just critically important that the British address that issue. They've got an air wing that can handle anything that anybody else has right now. The Chinese do have a stealth aircraft, but it's not carrier-borne. You can bet that they're working on getting a carrier-borne one, but they just haven't done it yet. However, they are continuing to build carriers. They've got 2 complete and are building 2 more. And I expect they're going to build a total of 6 to 8 carriers altogether. And we need to remember that, and remember that the Chinese are capable. The SU, it's the remake of the Su-33, the J-15 that they are using, is a very capable aircraft, even if it's not a stealth aircraft. It can carry anti-shipping missiles, and if it got close enough, it would launch them. And with their other aircraft refueled in the air from the ground, they would send many aircraft to attack such a carrier as this. Here on the other side, we've got another Duke class frigate, probably, if not one of the most effective anti-submarine frigates in the world. particularly carrying, as you see on the other one. This one has got a smaller helicopter, a Lynx, but the one over here is, well, I don't have it on there, but the Duke class is capable of carrying a Merlin helicopter like this, and it will fit into its hangar just barely but perfectly, and that is one heck of an anti-submarine warfare helicopter. The United States destroyers carry 2 helicopters each, and that is an important consideration because it allows you to rotate your helicopters continually to prosecute submarines that you might find that are looking for your carrier and looking to sink it. Submarines are still one of the, if not the most dangerous adversary to your carrier. They can get in close and get a large torpedo coming at you. You've got very big troubles. But the Merlin helicopters are very adequate helicopters with long range and plenty of weapons to be able to prosecute those. And with 2 Astute class subs, those are also right on par with the Virginia class subs the United States is building in terms of technology. They're as good, and there may be only 6 or 7 of them, like only 6 or 7 of these very good defensive destroyers, but what they do have is very powerful. Now, the United States, I would suggest you look at the video that I have on the United States carrier strike group, and you'll see that the United States usually carries 1 or 2 Ticonderoga class cruisers, which each carry 128 missiles, and then there will be 3 Aegis Burke class destroyers, each one of those carrying 96 missiles. And then the carrier itself carries 2 of these Ram missile launchers, as well as 2 or 3 Evolved Sea Sparrow missile launchers. Those 3 times 8 is 24, and each one of them carries 16 reloads. So the carrier itself, you know, has 80 or 90 missiles on it, and 2 to 3 phalanx gun, 20 millimeter gun close-in weapon systems. It's important for the British, should there be ever a major war with a near peer class adversary, to get this issue with their AEW and with the number of missiles they have to protect their carrier fixed. It will be helped with the Type 26 frigates because they carry more missiles, but not that many more. They will carry 32 and perhaps 48, and these carry 32, these frigates, and so you still are left with 160 total missiles, and you may be attacked by, like I say, as many as 200 to 400 missiles, and you generally would like to have 2 shots at each missile. So you better have 400 to 800 missiles defending your carrier, depending on how many aircraft attack you. And you better have an AEW system, for example, like the V-22 Osprey. And since this is a VTOL carrier, that's what you have to have to get the best available, in my mind. They've got a good solution with the Crow's Nest. It just doesn't have the range that they need for the war that they would have to fight if they had to fight a near peer carrier. They could get away with it perhaps against the Argentines. They wouldn't be able to get away with it against the Chinese. So that's just my thought on it, and I hope that people that watch this who are close in with the Royal Navy don't get upset at me over it, because I love our cousins over there, and I have many dear friends who either were in or still are in the Royal Navy, and they have built, even though they didn't go the route we would have liked them to have gone with a cattle bar carrier, meaning it had, catapults and full launch capabilities like American carriers. They have built a heck of a carrier, and 50 F-35Bs is a heck of an air wing. And the second largest air wing, only second to the United States full-size carriers, which can carry up to 95 aircraft each. In wartime, they could carry 50 on these carriers. Chances are, in known peacetime, there'll be closer to 30 aircraft on this carrier. But it's a beautiful carrier, as you can see. Very wide deck, and in fact, in scale to scale comparisons, the U.S. carrier has a 252 foot wide carrier deck, and the Invincible class, the Queen Elizabeth class here, has a 240 foot wide deck. There is no other carrier outside the United States that has one that large. I think even the Charles de Gaulle is not that big. So that's important to know. It's a beautiful ship, and they have beautiful and very capable escorts. The only problem being having sufficient missiles to defend themselves. I think they're good when it comes to anti-submarine warfare. I think when it comes to a near-peer anti-shipping attack, that if they find them and send, a couple of regiments of, Badgers or, J-16s or J-15s at them, they could be in trouble. And in fact, until they get this other stuff addressed, it would be my recommendation in a war against a near-peer capable enemy that has hundreds of aircraft that they're willing to throw at you. Don't send that carrier right there out without it going with an American carrier and mixing their escorts with the Aegis escorts that the U.S. would send with them. Because in that event, the two carriers and the two sets of escorts would have close to, if not over, 1,000 missiles to protect both carriers with, and I think they would be successful in doing so. But having only 200, actually 160, plus whatever they end up putting on the carrier missiles, it's just not enough. And I hope, again, that folks don't get upset at me over that. I'm just concerned. They have put billions of dollars into the air wing and into those two carriers, and particularly into the crews that are trained and trained well to operate them. The Royal Navy is shipshape and up to par, and they've got great modern equipment to work with. It's too bad that these Type 45 Daring class ships don't have 96 missiles on each one. That would be a very good thing, and it's something that the British, in my opinion, should consider for their next set of destroyers. I sure like the HMS Dragon and that initial artwork they put on the front of it. Beautiful, beautiful ship. And these carriers are very beautiful. I did work real hard to try to get as realistic a look to it with the personnel on board. I used KA models and Fujimi models to buy 1/350th scale personnel that were painted in the proper colors and put them on here. I've got a couple of hundred on this carrier. So there you have it. You've got two Daring class, HMS Duncan and HMS Dragon. You've got two Duke class frigates and two Astute class submarines. Very powerful, very modern carrier strike group. And at long last, I've been waiting a long time to get a Queen Elizabeth class vessel. And there she is right there. Hope you guys have a great day. Hope you get an opportunity to read the write-up that I put out there. You can go and look at this vessel on their site and the many others that they have. And hope you enjoyed the video. Let your friends know the channel that we've got out there. I like the British flag on the front here and the Royal Navy flag on the aft side. We put them both on there to allow the British United Kingdom people to see it and take pride in what they have been able to do. And I can tell you, the United States Navy is happy to have these type of vessels with our principal ally to assist us. We're happy the Japanese have built the carriers they built, and I believe they will build more if the Chinese continue building. They've got the two Izumo class carriers that each will carry about 30 F-35Bs, and they're very modern, and they have large wells, deep armament for their Aegis ships that guard those things. And I think that you might see the Japanese even build a larger carrier if the Chinese continue building them. You got the two Dokdo class for the Koreans that will be carrying the same aircraft. The United States with the F-35B has really put together a game changer, and with the EV-22 that would even more amply change the game and the name of the game. And soon, probably within 5 years, you'll see the United States with ships going to sea with lasers and with railguns. And that will again up the ante on the ability for the U.S. Navy and its allies to defend themselves and their sea lanes of communication. Sea lines of communication out across the deep blue sea, the 7 seas of this world. So, God bless y'all. Merry Christmas to you. It's very close. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.